question is, why is it so important to understand and read the Bible as a story?
Well, because a story puts things together. There are no abstractions in the story. There are just ideas in the story. So, story is the most original form of language. Parents telling stories, kids telling stories. A story well told is a defense against abstraction and ideas that aren't rooted in anything local or place. So it seems to me it's very significant that the first 5 books of the Bible, the Moses books, it's all story. Well, there's things in Leviticus that aren't story, but so it's all story. And when I started doing this, I was paying a lot of attention to language and the way words work. And I found someplace somebody had counted the name of Moses. The name of Moses occurs more times in the New Testament than any other name, including Jesus. So what I realized is there's these new people, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul. They were steeped in Moses. When they were writing a story, reworking the story. But it was always a story. And storytellers are they're kind of the basis of the development of language. So here's another thing that was part of this. These were in my early years as a pastor, and I started to realize that I was a pastor. I wasn't just a failed professor. In fact, at some point, sometimes I thought, I've been a pastor all my life. I just never knew there was a name for it. So as I was in those early years of being a pastor at Christ Our King Church, the church I started, I decided, and I didn't go to very good schools. They were okay. I learned how to read and write, but I didn't know American history, because in Montana there was no history except just right here local, and I didn't know anything about the country, the presidents, and so I worked out a list of 50 novels that I was going to read over the next 5 years, just to get a feel for the American life, and that gave me a sense that I still read novels a lot, just to keep in touch with the way the world is and the way America is. And then the New Testament, the Gospels, that's all story. Nothing happens without a story in it. And so that all these things kind of converged for me. I was reading, you know the name, the book Moby Dick?
Yeah, we know.
You know that?
English literature was my major.
Oh yeah? Well, we watched a movie the other night. It's green fried tomatoes.
Yeah.
You know that movie? And so there's a lot of racial conflict in it. But then this pastor, he's going to give a witness. And he said, put your hand on the Bible. And he said, I have my own Bible. And he put his hand on his own Bible. And he was probably making up stuff. And somebody afterwards said, how did you do that? He opened it up and said, it wasn't the Bible, it was Moby Dick. Anyway, and probably one of the difficulties that many pastors have with their congregations is they're teaching them truth, but there's no story. And so you try to keep rules, you end up trying to keep rules. And the Bible doesn't do that to us.
I found you likes to give us a story instead of some abstract ideas. You always tell a story when you answer questions. That's